Good evening, students. Now we are going to discuss about an electric dipole. Di means two, so dipole means two poles. So first we will define what is an electric dipole. A system consisting of two equal and dissimilar charges separated by a small distance is called an electric dipole. In the previous context, you must have studied that a single charge will produce an electric field surrounding the space around the given charge. Now, what will happen if two charges which are equal in magnitude and opposite in polarities are brought at a equilibrium distance? That is a very small distance. Now, a dipole is said to be formed. So, you look at the picture. A dipole consists of charges minus q placed at A and plus q placed at B, so that O is the midpoint of the line joining the two charges. Such an arrangement only is called as an electric dipole, and the distance of separation between the two charges making the dipole is given by 2A. Okay. So what is an electric dipole we have defined? It is a system consisting of two equal and opposite charges or equal and dissimilar charges separated by a small distance. Okay. Now, in nature itself, there are certain molecules. For example, I will take the example of a water molecule. So, water molecule, what is the molecular formula for water molecule is H2O. How many hydrogen atoms are present in water molecule? There are two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. We have studied that every atom consists of equal number of positive as well as negative charges. So every atom is made up of positive and negative charges. So the entire water molecule, if you take, means the shape of the water molecule will be like this. So this is the hydrogen and the oxygen which are bonded like this. So this is okay, this is hydrogen. So this is hydrogen and this is hydrogen and this is oxygen. Now they bond, okay, between the atoms forming the molecule, the bond angle. So this bond angle is 104 degree. This and all we must have studied in some other classes. Okay. So this is the center of the positive charge, and this hydrogen also will be the center of a positive charge, whereas here this oxygen will be the center of the negative charges. Now you see that these two positive charges are centered at some point here, So this is the center of these two positive charges, so that you can consider this as minus q and this as plus q, and these two positive charges and negative charges are equal in magnitude but opposite in polarities. So the water molecule also behaves like an electric dipole. So what will be the shape of this molecule? If you take the entire shape of the water molecule, means it will be oval shape, it will be ellipsoid shape, so that the center of gravity of all the negative charges, or the electron cloud will be shifted to one end of the molecule, while the center of gravity of the positive charges will be shifted on the other end of the molecule, so that this end will have a charge of minus q and this end will have a charge of plus q, and these two are separated by a distance 2a, so that the water molecule is now behaving like an electric dipole. So we should accept that an electric dipole consists of equal and opposite charges separated by a very small distance. Like this water molecule, there are some other molecules like the HCl, ammonia, chloroform and all. So all these molecules are made up of charges, and these charges will be displaced between each other such that there is a distance of separation between the positive and negative charges present in them. So they all behave like electric dipoles. Now what will happen when such electric dipoles are placed inside an external electric field? They will rotate, because when they are placed inside an external electric field, they will experience a torque, and the strength of the dipole will be different from each other. That is, the strength of every electric dipole is different from each other. For example, water molecules dipole and the strength of the dipole of chloroform or ammonia molecules will be different. Now, how do we measure the strength of the electric dipole? In terms of its dipole moment. So, the strength of electric dipole, is measured, or it is expressed in terms of, its electric dipole moment, So this is a new term which we are coming across. Electric dipole moment is a new term. Okay, the electric dipole moment for different molecules will be different. So the value of the electric dipole moment gives information about the strength of the molecule or the strength of the electric dipole. And this electric dipole moment is denoted by the symbol small p with a vector symbol. Okay, small p vector. So it is a vector quantity, and the electric dipole moment. So it is also defined. The electric dipole moment is also defined as the product of one of the charges making the dipole. Okay, making the dipole, and that is one of the charges, and the distance between the charges, So this product of one of the charges and the distance between the charges only. So what is the distance between the charges is denoted as 2a. Therefore, the P, that is the magnitude of the dipole moment is equal to one of the charges means Q into the distance between the two charges means it is 2a. So this is again rearranged as 2a into Q. I have written this in the scalar form. That is only the magnitude of the dipole moment I have written. But actually it is a vector quantity, and its direction is always from the negative charge towards the positive charge. So what is the direction of this P vector? I told you, from the negative charge towards the positive charge. So this is the direction of the electric dipole moment vector. And since it is pointed along the positive x-axis in the Cartesian coordinate system, I cap is a unit vector along the direction of the positive x-axis. So in vector form, I can write this in vector form. It can also be rewritten as what? P vector is equal to 2aq into I cap. So this is the expression for the electric dipole moment in the vector form. Okay, now what must be the SI unit of electric dipole moment? Let us see. Since it is the product of the charge and the distance, what is the unit for charge? Yes, that is Coulomb, and distance is having a SI unit of meter. So its unit is, okay, its unit, SI unit. Its SI unit is Coulomb meter. So Coulomb into meter. So this also can be expressed by the symbol capital C and small m. So what is meant by electric dipole moment we have defined? It is the product of one of the charges making the dipole and the distance between the two charges. And hence it is expressed as magnitude P is equal to Q into 2A, that is equal to 2A Q. In vector form, it is P vector is equal to 2aq into I cap, where I cap is a unit vector along the direction of the dipole moment. So it is having a SI unit of Coulomb meter. Have you all understood? Now next one is what we are going to study is surrounding this electric dipole there will be some electric field. We have studied the field due to a single charge. Okay, now there are two charges making up the dipole. So surrounding space around the dipole there will be two electric fields at any point, and the resultant field will be the vector sum of these two fields. So this we are going to discuss in the subsequent topics. We'll see. Okay, now let us derive an expression for the electric field due to a dipole at a point along the axial line. Now any straight line which is joining the two charges and passing through the midpoint of the dipole is called as the axial line. Now let us understand the picture first. The given dipole consists of two charges, namely minus q located at A and plus q located at B, so that O is the midpoint of the dipole. The distance between the two charges is 2a, is shown. AO is equal to A and OB is also equal to A. Okay. The dipole moment vector, that is P vector, is acting from the negative charge towards the positive charge, and it is a product of what? One of the charges q into the distance 2a. So P equal to 2aq is the dipole moment of the electric dipole. Now what is the derivation here is, we have to choose a point P along the axial line of the dipole, anywhere. Okay. So the point P is at distance r from the midpoint of the dipole. So any point P or any other point anywhere, if you measure also, that point should be always measured from the midpoint of the dipole. So here what is the distance between the midpoint of the dipole O and the point P is taken as r. So carefully now you look at the picture and you understand that where is the plus q located at point B. So what must be the distance from the positive charge plus q and the point P? So it must be equal to this distance r minus a. Is it not? So what must be the distance of the positive charge plus q from the point P now equal to, you have to understand that it is r minus a. So this r minus a. Similarly, now you try to understand where is the location of the negative charge. It is at A. So what is the distance of this negative charge minus q from the point P, we have to understand. So this must be equal to r plus a. So I am repeating once again. The distance of the point P from the midpoint of the dipole is equal to r. The distance of the positive charge plus q from the point P is equal to r minus a. Similarly, the distance of the negative charge minus q from the point P must be equal to r plus a. Okay. Now, at this point P, there will be two electric fields. One is due to the positive charge plus q located at B, and the other one is due to the negative charge which is located at the point A. And the resultant electric field will be equal to the vector sum of the individual electric fields. So this is by the principle of superposition. Okay. So first we have to get an expression for the electric field at the point P only due to the positive charge, and then due to the negative charge, and we have to take the vector sum. Okay. Now look at the picture. So the electric field at point P due to plus q. The positive charge is plus q. So this is denoted by the symbol E plus for positive. So if you want to measure the intensity of electric field at any point, we are supposed to assume here plus 1 coulomb. A unit positive charge, a test charge of plus 1 coulomb should be placed at that point. So you see that we have placed a test charge of plus 1 coulomb at point P, and how much force it will experience due to this plus charge we are going to find using Coulomb's inverse square law. Because electric field intensity at any point is defined as the force experienced by a unit positive charge placed at that given point. So at P, what is the force experienced by the unit positive charge of plus 1 coulomb due to this positive charge of plus q coulomb we want to find out. That will be equal to what? The electric field intensity at that point P due to plus q, and this must be equal to what? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q into 1, that is a q. So this is a q divided by the distance square. So already we have seen that this is at a distance of r minus a. So this is r minus a the whole square. Okay. Will it be a repulsive force or attractive force? Because these two are like charges, it will be a repulsive force. And hence, this positive charge of 1 coulomb will be repelled away from the point P, and hence this is denoted like this. So, this is denoted as E plus, and this is a vector. I have written only the magnitude. The magnitude I have written, okay, E plus is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R minus A whole square, and this will be acting from B towards P, that is along BP. So, this is along BP. Now, in vector form, if you want to express the same means, then here this can be also written as what? E plus vector. E plus vector is equal to this Q by 4, that is R minus A whole square into, you can write P cap, where P cap is the unit vector along the direction of the dipole moment, is it not? You see here, this E plus vector, and this P vector, both are along the positive x direction. Therefore, P cap, which is the unit vector of this dipole moment, okay, acts along the x-axis. So, in this format also we can express. Similarly, now we get an expression for electric field. So, electric field at which point P, due to which charge now? Minus Q. So, this is denoted by what? E minus for negative charge. Now, you see that at the point P, the charge placed is plus 1 coulomb, and minus Q charge is placed at a point A here. These two are unlike charges, and hence what will be the nature of the force between them is attractive. And since plus 1 is lesser than minus Q, this will be pulled towards the point A, is it not? Okay. Now, what is the distance between these two charges, plus 1 coulomb and minus Q coulomb? Already we stated that it is at a distance of R plus A, which is of greater distance. So, this is now equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q divided by R plus A the whole square, and this is acting along which direction? From P towards A, that is along the direction PA. Is it not? So, this is by inverse square law. This distance is larger than R minus A. Is it not? Therefore, naturally, the magnitude of E minus should be lesser. Okay, now I want to express this in vector form. So, it becomes E minus vector. So, this can be now represented as what? Into P cap, and this is along PA. So, these are the two equations. First, have you all understood the first two equations? At point P, okay, we have to find the net electric field due to the two charges plus Q and minus Q. So, E plus vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R minus A the whole square into P cap. This vector acts along BP in this direction, I have shown. Similarly, in which direction E minus vector acts? That is, E minus vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q divided by R plus A the whole square into P cap. Okay, but this time I have written P cap. P cap is acting that is towards the positive x-axis. So, in vector form, when I write this, should I introduce a negative sign or not? Okay, suppose only the magnitude if I write means the negative sign is not required. But when I have written this P cap, okay, P cap is acting along the positive x direction, but this E minus vector, this is an attractive force, okay, attractive force which is acting towards the point A or towards the direction along PA. Therefore, this E minus vector and this P vector in opposite directions. Therefore, here I have to introduce the negative sign. This is the only point you have to understand very carefully why there is a negative sign. Means this is because the vector P and the vector E minus both are oppositely directed. Have you all understood? Okay. Now let us proceed to find the net electric field at the point P. Before getting into that, you see the picture once again. The length of the vector E positive is greater and the length of the vector E minus is lesser. What is the reason for that? This is from inverse square law. Okay? From inverse square law, the force experienced by the unit positive charge at a shorter distance will be greater. And the the force experienced by the unit positive charge at a greater distance will be lesser. That is why E plus vector is greater than E minus vector. Okay. So here E plus vector. Okay. This is greater than E minus vector. This is from inverse square law. And the net electric field. Okay. And the net electric field means resultant electric field at P is given by E vector. E vector is equal to vector E plus the sum of these two vectors. Okay. So this is the resultant vector at the point P. I am going to substitute that, sir. So I am going to substitute. Therefore E vector. Okay. This can be also called as E total. Okay. This also can be called as what? E total resultant or net electric field. So this is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q divided by instead of E plus I have to substitute the first one, R minus A the whole square. So this is R minus A the whole square into P cap. Okay. Minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q divided by R plus A the whole square into P cap, because there is a negative sign. Okay, now I will take the common factors and group the terms so that this will be now equal to what? Q by 4 pi epsilon naught. This is equal to what? Q by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 divided by R minus A the whole square minus 1 by R plus A the whole square into P cap. In the vector form itself, I am grouping the terms. So now you see that we have to take the LCM. So that this is equal to what? Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into this term R plus A whole square is going to the left. So this is R plus A whole square is equal to what? R square plus A square plus 2A into R, and minus of this R minus A whole square is coming to the top. So this will be what? R square plus A square minus 2A into R. Okay, I have cross multiplied so that R plus A whole square is coming here as a full form I have written. Similarly, while cross multiplying, this term R minus A whole square is coming to the top, and I have expanded as R square plus A square minus 2AR, and the denominator will become what? R minus A whole square into R plus A whole square will be equal to R square minus A square the whole square. This is like A plus B into A minus B is equal to A square minus B square. But since already these are square terms, this is equal to what? Denominator is equal to R square minus A square the whole square. Now you look at the numerator alone, open up the brackets, and which are the terms get cancelled. You see here R square, here minus R square is there. So we can cancel. So this R square and minus R square get cancelled. Similarly here A square and minus of A square get cancelled. So the remaining terms, if I will write, means this is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 2AR is here. And minus of minus 2AR will become what? 4AR. So this is equal to 4AR divided by R square minus A square the whole square. Okay. And this is once again equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. You do not cancel these 4 and 4 because in all these electrostatic calculations, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught means that is value is equal to 9 into 10 power 9. So better to retain this 4 pi epsilon naught in the denominator as it is. Okay. So I will adjust the numerator. This 4A into R can be written as 2A into 2R. So inside the bracket you see here, this is also equal to 2A multiplied by 2R divided by R square minus A square the whole square. Why I am dividing this 4AR into 2A product 2R? This is because the product of this Q into 2A, this is equal to 2A, Q is equal to what? The magnitude of the electric dipole moment. Is it not? So I will rewrite this is equal to. So in the right hand side everywhere p cap also you can write because it is continuing in the vector form. So p cap also you can continue. Now this q into 2a product is equal to what? That is equal to p, and this is also equal to now 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into, so 2 p r. So this is equal to 2 dipole moment p remaining r factor divided by r square minus a square the whole square into p cap. Now r is the distance of the point p from the midpoint of the dipole, where a is half the distance of between the two charges. So which will be naturally greater here? R. R only should be naturally many times greater than this distance a. So we can write this since, that is since r square, okay, is very much greater than a square. R square is very much greater than a square. The smaller term a square whole square. A square itself is very small, then a square whole square will be still very small. Therefore this a square can be neglected. A square can be neglected. Okay. So when a square is getting neglected, what will be the denominator equal to? R square whole square will become r power 4. So up to this have you all understood? Now shall I erase the board here? Shall I erase the board? Okay. You wait, I will erase the board and continue, okay? So I told you that here a square is neglected means denominator will become what? R square whole square will become r power 4. So I have rewritten the equation here. E total in vector form is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into 2 p r by r power 4. So that here this r can get cancelled with this power 4. This will become r cube. So this is a E total, okay? E total is now equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into 2p. So 2p by r cube into p cap. Now this p is the magnitude of the electric dipole moment, and p cap is what? A unit vector along the direction of dipole moment. So this p into p cap must be equal to what? P vector, that is electric dipole moment vector. Okay. Therefore I can also write this as what? E total. E total is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into 2p by r cube. 2p by r cube. So this is in vector form. So this is in vector form. And this is acting along which direction here? Along the direction of the dipole moment. Along the direction of the dipole moment means it is a BP, along a BP. So E plus vector is of greater magnitude and E minus vector is of lesser magnitude. This is like a rope being pulled during a tug of war game. So this force is greater, this force is lesser, means the rope will move towards the greater force direction. Have you understood? So this is the expression for the resultant electric field. So this also can be written as E axial. So E axial also you can write. That is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into 2p by r cube, which is acting along the direction BP. Have you all understood? Okay, now next we are going to derive an expression for the electric field at any point along the equatorial line. Okay? Let us derive an expression for the electric field due to a dipole at a point along the equatorial line. Now what is meant by equatorial line? It is any straight line passing through the midpoint of the dipole and also perpendicular to that of the axial line. Now in the previous discussion, any straight line joining the two charges and passing through its midpoint was called as the axial line. Now you see that we are considering a point P along the equatorial line of the dipole, and the distance of the point P from the midpoint of the dipole is taken as r, small r. Okay, so the point P from the positive charge placed at B and the point P from the negative charge minus q placed at A, both the distance will be the same, and that distance is represented by r1. so that the location of the point P along with the points A and B looks like an isosceles triangle. So the point P is at equal distance from both the positive charge as well as the negative charge. Okay. Now what is the distance between the two charges? As usual, it is equal to 2A. So I have split as A plus A with respect to the midpoint. Okay. Now our intention is to derive an expression for the electric field at the point P due to both the charges by using the principle of superposition. So as usual, what will be the electric field at the point P due to the positive charge? I am going to find out. For that, I will assume a positive charge of plus 1 coulomb is placed at the point P. It is a test charge of plus 1 coulomb. So what will be the nature of the force experienced by this unit positive charge due to another positive charge plus Q placed at P? It will be repulsive, and this unit positive charge will be repelled along the direction BP. So I am going to expression only for the magnitude of the charge first. Okay. So the magnitude of the charge E plus vector. Okay. So this is equal to E plus. Only the magnitude I am writing, and this is equal to what? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q divided by, this is Q divided by, what is the distance is R1 square, that is equal to BP square. So this is equal to R1 square. This is also equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q divided by, you can express R1 square in terms of R square and A square, because in triangle OPB, R1 square is equal to what? R square plus A square. So I can also write this as what? This is R square plus A square. This is the electric field at P due to the positive charge. And similarly, what is the electric field at the same point due to the negative charge minus Q? The modulus of E minus, okay, this is equal to E minus, and this is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q divided by, this is a AC square, which is also equal to R1 square. So the same expression only we are getting now. So this is equal to Q divided by R1 square, and this is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q divided by R square plus A square. Did you all understand? The magnitude of E plus as well as E minus both are one and the same. This is because by inverse square law, both the charges plus Q and minus Q are at the same distance from the given point P. Okay, both are at the same distance. So now you look at the direction of E plus and E minus. So in this picture, you see that the E plus vector is directed along BP in the upward inclined direction, so that here the angle made by the straight line AC as well as, that is the PB with respect to the axial line is theta. So now you can see the direction of E plus is upward and the direction of E minus is downward. So I want to find the resultant of these two electric fields at the point P. For that I am going to resolve the vectors E plus and E minus along the horizontal direction and the vertical direction. So for that purpose I have drawn the second diagram. You look at the second diagram. Actually we are supposed to find the electric field intensity at the point P. At the point P there are two electric field intensities. One is E plus vector due to the positive charge, and the other one is E minus vector due to the negative charge. Now I am going to resolve these two into horizontal and vertical components. Now you see that here if this angle is theta, okay, E plus is making an angle theta with a horizontal. So what should the horizontal component of E plus must be equal to? That is equal to E plus into cos of this angle theta. And since it is acting opposite to the x-axis, that is along the negative x direction, the unit vector of negative x direction is minus I cap. Is it not? So I have resolved E plus vector along the negative x-axis, and that is equal to E plus cos theta into, that is a minus I cap. Similarly, you look at this E minus vector. E minus vector is also making an angle theta with the horizontal. So its horizontal component must be equal to E minus into cos theta. And since this is acting along the left hand side, that is negative x direction, this minus I cap is the unit vector along the negative x axis. Therefore, these two vectors E plus cos theta into minus I cap and E minus cos theta into minus I cap, both are acting along the same direction, that is along the negative x direction. They will be added up, they will be summed up. While the vertical components you see here, the vertical components are E plus, this is E plus into sine of theta. This is along the positive y axis. Positive y axis means this is j cap. J cap is the unit vector along the positive y direction. And this E minus into sine theta is acting in the downward direction, that is in the negative y axis. Therefore, its Cartesian system, that is minus j cap is the unit vector. Okay. So these two are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction, and hence they will be cancelling each other. They will be cancelled up. Why? Because the modulus of E plus and the modulus of E minus are both are one and the same. I can write that modulus of E plus is equal to modulus of E minus, and that is equal to E itself. Both are one and the same. Therefore, this sin theta components of E plus and E minus will cancel each other, and the net electric field at the point P is only due to which components? Only due to the horizontal components. Okay. Therefore, E total, okay, E total is equal to, I will write only the magnitudes first. At the end, I am going to substitute in the vector form. So I am going to write the E total of what? The magnitude of the net electric field, and hence this is equal to E plus cos theta, E plus cos theta plus E minus cos theta. This is E plus cos theta and E minus cos theta. The magnitudes can be added only. Okay. Finally, in the vector form, I will introduce the negative sign. Okay. So E total is equal to what? E plus cos theta plus E minus cos theta, and this can be written as 2 into E plus cos theta. This is because E plus okay is equal to E minus in magnitude. Because E plus as well as E minus both are one and the same in magnitude. I am going to substitute. So this is equal to 2 into instead of E plus, what I can write? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q divided by what? R square plus A square into cos theta. Now in this picture you see that in any right angular triangle like OAP or OBP, what is cos of theta? Cos of theta is equal to, let us find out here, cos theta is equal to adjacent side what? A. That is cos theta is equal to what? Adjacent side A divided by hypotenuse. So this is equal to A divided by R1, and this can be written as A divided by square root of R square plus A square. Okay, I am going to substitute here cos theta is equal to A divided by square root of R square plus A square instead of cos theta. So this is equal to 2 into 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q divided by R square plus A square into A divided by, so this is A divided by square root of R square plus A square can be written as what? R square plus A square whole power 1 by 2. Now I am readjusting the terms. So this is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. This term 2, this Q and A can be grouped together as 2AQ, that is equal to P, that is once again equal to the dipole moment. So this 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into 2AQ divided by, now you see that this is R square plus A square whole power half, this is R square plus A square whole power 1. So totally it will be equal to what? The denominator R square plus A square whole power 3 by 2. Okay, so this is equal to R square plus A square whole power 3 by 2. Okay. Now instead of 2aq, what can we substitute? 2aq is also equal to what? The dipole moment P. Also, comparing to the distance r, the distance a is very small, as we have assumed in the axial line. Now also we are going to assume in the same way. So have you understood up to this step? So the resolution of vectors and all, have you understood? Shall I rub this diagram and continue the derivation? Okay. Okay, now you see here, but 2a into q, this 2a into q is also equal to small p, that is equal to electric dipole moment. Also, since r square is very much greater than a square, here in the sum a square is neglected. Therefore, now E total is now equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Okay, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into P by, so this is P divided by, this is R square whole power 3 by 2 will become what? R cube. This will be equal to R cube, because A square is neglected. R square whole power 3 by 2 will be equal to R power 3, that is R cube. So this is in the scalar form. Okay. Now in that picture actually at the point P, so which is equidistant from the two charges, that is minus q and plus q. So the resultant of this E plus and E minus will be acting along this direction. So this is the direction of E total vector, where this is the direction of E plus vector and this is E minus vector. So this is the direction of the dipole moment vector P. So the total electric field is oppositely directed to that of the electric dipole moment, is it not? So now the same expression, the E total in the vector form I am going to write in vector form. So in vector form, okay, this E total vector is equal to minus of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into P divided by R cube. So this is with a negative sign. Why there is a negative sign? This negative sign indicates that the resultant vector E total is acting along the negative x direction. It is opposite to the direction of the electric dipole moment. So dipole moment P vector is from left to right along the positive x direction, and the total electric field E total is acting opposite to the direction of the electric dipole moment. So from this one very important fact is known to us. E axial, we have derived an expression that E axial, so I will write here itself, just wait a minute, I will write here itself. So along the axial line we have already derived, okay, E axial. So E axial is equal to, magnitude of E axial is equal to twice the magnitude of E equatorial. So this is very important information for solving the numerical problems in competitive exams in the form of MCQs. So in the E axial line what we got? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into 2p by r cube. But here for equatorial line at the same distance r, what expression we are getting is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into p by r cube. So the magnitude of the electric field along the axial line is equal to twice the magnitude of the electric field along the equatorial line at the same distance. I hope you must have understood. So we will meet you in the next topic. Okay.